What's some widely accepted bad advice? Don't call the morning after a good first date. It makes you seem desperate. Frick that. Solid relationships are built on honest communication. If you're excited to see someone again, let them know. Frick that. Solid relationships are built on honest communication. If you're excited to see someone again, let them know. I love to see how much we're doing away with the old ways of doing things. Life is hard enough. There's no point in adding extra games. Good vibes only. You can cry and be sad if you want to. It is perfectly fine. Translation: nobody is allowed to be mad at or upset with me. Looks don't matter. As someone that's ugly, I find that mildly offensive. Looks get your foot in the door. Personality gets you in. Having a great personality only works if you're moderately attractive. People also treat others different based on whether they're hot or not. My best friend is typically attractive, and the amount of times people have talked over me only to listen raptly to my friend is not even funny anymore. Treat others with respect. Yes, even us ugly ones. Looks don't matter. Attractive people. When a job interviewer asks where do you see yourself in 5 years, a great response is in your position. No, this is not a great response, as it make you sound arrogant and full of yourself. My last interview they asked me that. I said I really don't know, but I'd like to learn as much as possible and be the guy that when a hard question comes up everyone goes, go talk to Ian. He knows everything around here. I don't know if that was good answer or not, but they said it was and hired me. Don't take that promotion. You'll make less money if you get a raise. Overtime will put you in a new tax bracket and you'll actually make less. etc. We really should teach this kind of stuff in school because it's scary how many people don't understand how tax brackets work. Follow your dreams. It is too vague. I want to be an actress and they're not explaining the steps, or other obscure jobs kinda leads to a kid dreaming and not doing much, then growing up confused. I still think people should follow their passions in life, do what they love, and find motivation in everything. But I hate follow your dreams. It sounds like something you'd hear a whimsical fairy say. It is meaningless, dreamy, and unproductive today, in my opinion. I think telling people to follow their dreams is fine, but we need to equally be willing to tell people that they need to have a backup plan. Like, we knew a couple that got divorced because the husband was convinced he'd be a pro golf player, but like, he didn't play that much and he wasn't that amazing. He ended up just kind of sitting around the house all day until his wife had had enough. Never go to bed angry. I hear people say all the time, and people accept it as if it's gospel, but often a good night's sleep and a chance to let your cortisol drop so you can get out of your reptilian brain and return to reason is really what you need. Do not stay up all night trying to resolve some issue when you're furious and exhausted. Go ahead and go to bed angry. Many times I've gone to bed angry and woken up wondering what the heck I was mad about in the first place. It's like a giant reset button for the brain. Be yourself. It's sometimes okay to not be yourself. TBH, I'm actually short-tempered. If I always be myself, I would find myself in an argument in minutes. Just go up to her and be yourself. Myself is not someone who would just go up to a girl I don't know and start talking to her. LOL. When you first get to prison, pick a fight with the biggest guy there. I've never been to prison, but I can tell this is terrible advice. Have kids while you're young. Everything will work out. Lots of my Mormon friends started having kids at 19-20. They're all struggling. I'd say 20 is too young. You can't even drink. But there is a middle ground when it comes to the best age to become a parent. My parents had me late, 39 and 40, and while they were great, I think it's also valuable for children to have parents of an age where they can handle more of the physical stress and play around easier. There's plenty of fish in the sea. It's often poorly timed, that is, after a breakup, and it can make the feelings worse. Also, just because there are a lot of available people doesn't change the fact that a monogamous relationship is only with that one person whom they desire, not some other fish out there. I'm sorry, I thought it was there's plenty of trash in the sea. Telling anyone with mental health issues, unilaterally, to fix them via meditation mindfulness. Why I feel it often doesn't work. BC, I know this advice is usually offered in good faith, Remember that meditation and mindfulness are both skills that need time and energy to cultivate, so even if they are helpful, and I do use both to help manage my own, it's not helpful advice to give someone so deep in depression, mental illness that they have neither. In my experience, it feels like reaching out and saying, "I'm drowning," and someone responds, "Well, why don't you just learn how to swim?" The real advice people often need is exactly how and where to seek help, which will go a much longer way. Louder for the ones in the back, please. Also, when discussing mental health, fake it till you make it is viciously detrimental. No, don't fake a smile and pretend to be happy when you are considering throwing yourself in front of a bus. Talk about your pain. Do not ever pretend that it doesn't exist. That will make things so much worse. Study whatever you want in college that interests you, unless you have scholarship money, wealthy and giving parents, etc. You shouldn't. Example, go to a private art college to study printmaking. My ex-GF did that and she'll be in debt her whole life. You can study whatever you want, but you don't have to borrow $100k to pursue what you love. Well, actually, if you go to a community college that has an in-state program, like free the first year for instance, or no tuition, it's fairly inexpensive to take a couple classes that interest you rather than settling on something straight away. You have to go to college. College is one option. There are several other options. Trade school, apprenticeship, workforce, military, volunteering, whatever. You have to do what's right for you, not what others are incentivized to tell you. College was right for me, and I was able to pay off my loans within 5 years of graduating because I was fortunate to use my degree to obtain a job in my field fairly quickly. That doesn't mean it's right for my cousin, who is a welder and making gobs of money being an expert on his own schedule. My whole life I was told that getting literally any college degree would guarantee a high-paying job right out of college. I graduated in 2008. BTW. Tip your head back when you have a nosebleed. Never do this. You will swallow a ton of blood and it will make you sick. Sit down, lean forward, and apply an ice pack and gentle pressure to the bridge of your nose, on both sides of the bone. Do not pinch your nostrils shut, just put pressure on the bone. Catch dripping blood with tissues or whatever. OMG, I used to get nosebleeds all the time as a kid and teachers would rush up to me, pinch my nose with tissues and shove my head back. I would choke and sputter on my own blood, struggling against their grip, trying to push my head forward and stop the suffocation. I never understood why anyone would teach them to do that, cause it was really painful and never helped. Money doesn't buy happiness. While yes, it isn't guaranteed to make you happy, I would bet you wouldn't at all be happy if you were homeless. But if you had average income you would likely be more happy, simply because you're not living in a shithole without taking showers. You can live in comfort and be clean. People seem to think that just cause lots of rich people are lonely and dongs that means that money means nothing with happiness. Well, it definitely does. There's research on this. Money buys you happiness until your needs are met. After that, it's diminishing returns. Stressing about the rent will make you miserable. Deciding to buy a fourth house won't do much. That no doesn't always mean no. Man if you're woman, or woman if your man says no. Don't do anything that crosses over the boundary unless you receive a clear signal from them to do so. And PPL who say this as a way to blame you for not acting how they wanted are playing stupid games and are poor communicators who are not worth the stress and drama. Ignore bullies and they will stop. Remove yourself from the situation. Stand up to bullies and they will stop. Tell them frick off and they will stop. No, and number. Ignore bullies, they will up the assault. You try ignoring people you are legally required to be near. Not so easy now, is it? If your parents ever tell you this, tell them you will perform a little empathy exercise. To do this, you must make annoying noises or repeatedly poke them or harass them, and they cannot tell you to stop or punish you because they are supposed to be ignoring you. And up the assault like your bullies will. If they snap and tell you to shut up or stop, say congratulations. You have successfully demonstrated empathy towards my situation with bully. You saw that simply ignoring me did not stop me from trying to get your attention. Now how shall we continue moving forward with this problem? Remove yourself from the situation, engage in malicious compliance and walk out of school or class. This is what you were told to do. No. Stand up or tell them to frick off. Only works on TV. I'm afraid. In reality, they come back this time with a weapon and or reinforcements. And this is assuming they don't just change their tactics. Here are some better things to ask. What do I do when they come back with a weapon? No, a lawyer. We need to press assault charges. Only under the condition that if I retaliate I am exempt from punishment at home because I followed your advice. If I stand up for myself and am punished, I will learn your advice means nothing and I should not listen. So when do they actually stop? Cause they haven't. And this is when it comes to in-person crap. Cyberbullying is in fact real and no, blocking doesn't do jack crap. I was very much taught to ignore my bullies. From kindergarten to junior year it never stopped. It was physical and emotional. No one did anything. That and a whole bunch of other non-stop trauma has made me an almost hermit, because at least if I'm at home no one can hurt me. This crap is real damaging. When people tell you to forgive someone that hurt you, nobody knows the borders of your pain better than you do. You are the only one who knows when you'll be ready to forgive somebody. Or maybe you will never be ready. Maybe you don't even want to see that person ever again and that doesn't make a drama queen who feel that is the most important thing in the room. No, but you are the only thing that matters in your life. You can be anything you want. You abso-freaking-lutely cannot. What you can be is determined by your skills, your dedication, and your opportunities. Recognizing your limitations is healthy. Do what you love is terrible career advice for at least 2 reasons. 1. Work, by definition, involves doing things that other people pay you for. It's about what's valuable to them, not about what's valuable to you. 2. Most people enjoy doing the same things, art, sports, academics, for instance, because these activities recognize excellence, or at least appear to. They are lottery level competitive because they attract large numbers of unusually talented, unusually motivated people. 3. Usually, although not always, doing a thing that you enjoy on other people's terms makes it a lot less enjoyable. I sure like eating, but not eating what, when, and how much other people tell me to. Most careers don't separate excellence from competence. There's no point. All other things being equal. For example, seniority, the best nurse at your hospital, or teacher at your school, makes the same amount as the one who's just good enough not to get fired. Better advice: play the money game on easy mode so you have the time and energy to lean into things you enjoy. That means 1. Do something that other people will pay you for and B. that you can easily do well enough. Make meeting your needs, food, healthcare, housing, childcare and education, as easy as possible. 2. Exercise your passions, writing, basketball, music, whatever to whatever degree your interest and talent allows. Get good at being lucky and, when you see an opportunity, take your shot. Sell that book, record that album, start that Twitch stream, and let it grow towards the opportunities that interest you instead of expecting it to pay your bills. Expectation: find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Reality: find a job you love and you'll work really long hours and be underpaid because your employer knows how passionate you are and exploits it, until you eventually hate the thing you loved. Never kick a man when they are down. Sure, maybe in the metaphorical sense, but if you're in a fight, you fight to win. We're also told to never give up on your dreams, but there's also quit when you're ahead. My Krav Maga instructor used to tell us at least once per training a man on the ground deserved to be kicked. It should buy you enough time to escape the situation safely. When pickup artists convinced people that being rude and cruel to the opposite sex will win their affection, following that advice leads down a very lonely and desperate road. The thing about this is that it can work, but only on a certain kind of person who lacks the emotional maturity or self-worth for any kind of meaningful connection. Oh yeah, and also, same applies to you if you are using this advice in the first place. So glad I got a clue and grew out of this. I still cringe at 20-year-old. No self-esteem me. Choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. You can have a not fun job if it makes up for it with pay time that you can spend doing what you actually love. I don't love programming, but I love that it gives me the perks to do basically whatever I want. You should forgive people who hurt you because you need forgiveness to heal. This is simply not true. People who say this usually don't give a frick about you healing. They just want you to be nice to people who hurt you, especially when it's family. You get rewarded for staying loyal to your company. Absolute BS. If you're underpaid, poor management, taken advantage of, etc., look for another job. In fact, don't stop looking for better jobs once you get a job. Yes, you might get some reward, but overall the raises aren't much and neither are benefits in most careers. Don't be afraid to job hop. Depends on the company tbh. Fake it till you make it. Having a bunch of narcissistic jerks acting like they know what they are doing and screwing things up is not improving anyone's life, including their own. This isn't bad advice for sufferers of imposter syndrome. What I'm faking is confidence in my abilities. Wait 24 hours to report a missing person because the cops can't do anything until then. I blame police procedurals and movies for this one. If you cannot pay your credit card debts, forget it and deny any payments. It sucks that people give heed to such pieces of advice. Never do that. And if you imagine yourself landing in such a situation, better not to have a credit card in the first place. Brought to you by Capital One. Putting wet electronics in rice to dry out. Never do it. The starch from the rice will leach into your device and now you have a gummed up device. Just let it dry out slowly with the power off. It's the sediment and minerals left behind that cause issues. If you're really concerned, wash through with alcohol or deionized pure water and let it dry. Work hard. Really, only working hard is not a good advice at all. People literally break themselves working hard. You must plan first, use your brain, gather more confidence, stay healthy and fit, meditate and work what you must. This is so true, and so overlooked in the corporate environment. It's more important to be likable than hardworking. Turn your car's air conditioner to low to save gas. I heard this on the news the other 4 tips we can use to be green. Your car's air conditioner is either on or off. It doesn't matter the temp you set it to or how hard the fan is blowing. Just move on. Hey, I still miss him. I will move on when I'm ready, or am I never move on, and that's okay too. Don't rush me. Never give up. The ugly truth is that a lot of times you should give up. Childhood dreams are next to impossible to achieve if your parents aren't extremely rich. I always wanted to be a writer. I don't usually toot my own horn, but I was pretty good at it, but most novel writers aren't famous or make that much. I now drive trains and it's a better choice for me. My dream was silly and it's good I realized that early. Man, this makes me realize how lucky I was that my dreams aligned with society's textbook definition of successful. I feel really bad that you had to give up on your dream, but please tell me that you write recreationally still. I think we've gone a little bit overboard recently with the set boundaries, cut people off if you have to, and only ever interact with people on your own terms mentality. Boundaries are necessary and healthy, but I feel like a lot of people have gone to an unhealthy extreme where they just aren't willing to sacrifice or even inconvenience themselves in any way for the sake of maintaining relationships with other people, familial, platonic, and romantic alike. And I think it's irreparably damaging our connection to each other. Don't cry. It's okay to not be okay, so let them cry. Besides, you bet your butt I'm crying my life out. You better mind your own business. Live your truth. There's no such thing as your truth. There's the truth and your perception. If you start conflating the two, you suddenly start to ignore reality. I guess the fake it till you make it. I get that for some people it works, but it's kinda hard for me to lie to myself to the point of believe in it or make others believe in it. Also the fact that you still faking and that at some point someone will notice. If no one else is leaving, when a fire alarm goes off, just stay put. Please, for the love of all that's holy, leave after a few seconds. When people teach their kids to be the bigger man or turn the other cheek, it is just plain cruel to teach your kids that they cannot defend themselves. If you teach your kids this stuff, then you are responsible for them getting hurt because it will happen. If kids don't stand up for themselves, matters only get worse. The bullying will get worse and their peers will start to avoid them to avoid getting bullied. Kids can't change their environments as easy as adults can. When they're bullied at school and then have parents at home that tell them not to fight back, they will feel like they have no escape. This is bad parenting, but so many parents still do it. Having a baby will randomly save your marriage relationship. So many people really get caught in this tricky bad advice. Late to the party, but the whole college is a necessity thing. I was fortunate enough to get an athletic scholarship and had the foresight to know I'd be going pro in something other than sports. So I took full advantage of my opportunity and majored in a field that guaranteed me a job after graduation. I have plenty of friends that joined the IB or got their welding certificate right after high school and make just as much or more than I do with even more job security. It's insanity to think $100K in debt is a viable option for an 18-year-old kid. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.